Hey, good evening, everybody. Hey, do me a favor. If you plan on being here at Bible studies on I think it's the 21st and the 28th, those 2 Wednesdays that where missional community groups are going to be out, that Bible study that I'm doing, if you plan on coming, please shoot me a text message as quickly as you can to let me know. Haven't completely decided on the curriculum or what I'll be teaching on. So anyway, I'm just trying to discern who's going to be here and kind of make plans for that. So please let me know. I want to illustrate tonight's conversation around this idea with a story. I remember in 2005 when we came down to the church to be youth pastors, my kids were starting kindergarten, and I went to drop the kids off at school. When I dropped them off, as I walked away from the school, man, I just began to cry like crazy. I don't know. I mean, that makes me some sort of weak guy or whatever. I don't know, but I cried, and I came back to the church, and I literally was in the altar in this building for about 2 solid hours, bawling my eyes out. And here's why I'm crying. It's I was scared to death that Isaac is who I dropped off. He was first, and I was scared to death that he was going to get on the playground and nobody's going to play with it. Like he was going to feel like he was alone, like he was, you know what I mean? I was afraid of that, and that's the only thing that I could keep replaying in my mind. Same thing happened with Logan when I dropped him off, and when I dropped Abby off, dude, I was uncontrollable. And so here's my fear: is that my kids are going to be in a situation where kids not going to like them, somebody's going to bully on them, you know, blah 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 blah. Well, obviously they did fine, but I do think there's something to be said about this idea of all of us wanting to belong. I was checking on my intro, my notes, and I guess maybe some of that came from all the times that I have switched schools when I was growing up. But man, I don't know that you have to switch schools, or many of you know what it's like to switch a job or to any sort of situation where you're around people and you're wondering whether you belong there. You switch a church and you come to from another church. Do I belong here? You know, and I think that's innate in all of us. And so at the core of what love is, it's the ability to accept somebody where they are, even and to begin to fully know them. So relationships deepen when we are fully known and fully loved. You have the more intimate the love is, the more you know that person, and then the more you extend a love to them by knowing him. It's not fitting in. That's not what love is. That's not what we're talking about here. Fitting in is that I've got to change my behavior so you'll like me. That's not what we're talking about. Instead, we're talking about love that knows who I am and accepts me anyway, to be fully known and to be fully accepted. Now, the gospel and Jesus Christ is the launching off pad of this, right? Jesus profoundly knows who we are, knows our weaknesses, strengths, so on, our sins, who we really are, and yet chose us to be in the family of God and extended a love to us, an acceptance of us, a belonging. He said, you belong to me and I to you. Like you are now in the family of God. In much the same way, church family, we're called to extend that to other people. And this is where we got to really, there's great work to be done here. The harvest is plentiful from this regard. But we've got to get out of our own circles, if you will. And we got to turn around and see that even among us are people who are coming, wondering if they belong, if there's a place in the church body for them. Well, guys, if there's a place in the church body for us, there's a place in the church body for them. And I would just hate for us to be a church where, much like my son being dropped off at school or my daughter being dropped off at school, going out to the playground, there'd be a bunch of kids out there playing but didn't want anything to do with my son or daughter. I would hate, and they feel like they don't belong. I would hate for our church to be a group of Christians who, when new people show up, that we are so caught up in our own circles that we don't even turn to notice that God may be sending us somebody new, that they can be. What can we do to make sure that the people around us feel like they belong? They can be fully known and they can be fully loved. That's what we're talking about when we talk about love. So have a great conversation, and I will see you very soon. See you on Sunday. God bless.